Welcome everyone to part 1 of our Autopsy Digital Forensics training series. In today's video, we are going to begin from absolute basics so that even if you have never opened Autopsy before, you can follow along comfortably. We'll work inside Kali Linux, running on VirtualBox, learn how to open Autopsy correctly, and then create our very first forensic case step by step. Please remember that this entire series is for education and ethical training only. Analyze only practice sample images, systems you own, or system for which you have clear written permission. Before we touch any tool, please pay close attention to this disclaimer. This video and the Topsy demonstration are intended strictly for learning digital forensic in a reasonable way. You alone are responsible for making sure your activities remain ethical and comply with all applicable laws in your country. Only examine system you own or system where you have explicit authorization. We are not responsible for any misuse, unauthorized access, illegal investigation activity, or damage caused by viewers who ignore these rules. If you are watching this for a college lab or YouTube learning, treat ethics as part of skill, not an optional extra. Let us quickly look at what you will achieve by end of the experiment 1. First, you will start a Kali Linux virtual machine inside VirtualBox. Second, you will open Autopsy correctly either from the menu or from the terminal. Third, you will create your own first forensic case using a proper naming style, just like a real investigator would. Fourth, you will identify the main part of the autopsy interface so the screen does not feel confusing. Fifth, you will be able to explain what to observe during case creation and why that step actually matters in forensics. One small but important step. The official tool name is Autopsy from the Salute Kit. Autopsy is commonly misspelling, and throughout this course we'll use the correct name. This slide is not just legal text, it is core professional mindset. Use Autopsy only on practice disk images on machines that belong to you. Do not image copy or analyze someone else's phone, laptop, or USB drive without permission, even if you are just curious. In real digital forensic work, investigators follow law, warrants, policies, and chain of custody procedures. This YouTube series teaches defensive digital forensics, meaning we learn how evidence is examined reasonably. For safe beginner practice after experiment 1, use publicly available forensic sample images such as digital corpora, or create a tiny USB or virtual machine disk image that you prepared yourself for training. Now let us understand the tool itself. Autopsy is an open source digital forensic platform built on top of the Salute Kit, often called TSK. It helps examiners look at disk images, browse file systems, recovery, or review deleted contents, build timelines, and inspect artifacts such as web history and other useful tracks. On Kali Linux, Autopsy frequently run as a local web application that you open in your browser, rather than a random website on the internet. A simple way to remember is that Autopsy is your investigation workspace. Every case becomes documented, repeatable, and organized almost like a lab notebook where evidence work is tracked carefully from the beginning. Before the practical start, make sure your lab setup is ready. On your host computer, whether Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, install Oracle VirtualBox. Inside VirtualBox, use a Kali Linux virtual machine, preferably a recent stable version. Given the virtual machine at least 4 gigabytes of RAM, 8 gigabytes is better if you your host machine can afford it, because forensics tool can be heavy. Autopsy should be available on Kali, either already installed or installed through apt or our installation scripts. Also take a virtual box snapshot before labs so you can roll back if something breaks. This setup keeps you learning isolated and safer, because practice stay inside the virtual machine instead of your real host disk. This diagram shows the complete journey of experiment 1 in one view. We begin by starting Kali inside VirtualBox. Then we log into the Kali desktop. Next we launch Autopsy. And after that we will create a new forensic case. Once that case exists, we spend time observing the user interface and the case folders on the disk. And finally we record why this process matters. Please note that experiment 1 deliberately stop at case creation and interface understanding. We are not yet analyzing malware, deleted files, or full evidence images. Those deeper skills begin in later experiment, after this foundation is strong. Step 0 is the warm-up every beginner should master. Open Oracle VirtualBox on your host computer, select your Kali Linux virtual machine from the list, and click the green Start button. Wait patiently until the Kali login screen or desktop appear. Then log in using your Kali username and password. While you do this on camera, speak. The reason we use a virtual machine is important. Mistakes stay isolated inside the guest system, and we avoid treating the host hard disk as forensic evidence. This habit protects both your personal computer and the identity and the integrity of your learning environment. You can see the Oracle VirtualBox is installed on my system, and I have a Kali virtual machine. So I'm going to start it. So it's starting. The virtual machine is getting started. It's asking for the username and the password. So I will enter my username and the password for this. My Kali machine is started. Now method A uses graphical application menu and is friendly if you prefer clicking instead of typing. Click the Kali application menu or whisker menu. Go into the forensic category. Note that the number or the label can change depending upon your Kali version, and then click Autopsy. If Autopsy does not appear in the menu or your system, do not panic. Simply switch to method B, which uses the terminal and is actually preferred for teaching because every step is visible. Also remember this important point. Autopsy may ask for root privileges because forensic tools often need low-level disk access. On Kali, launching with sudo is normal and expected approach. So what we have to do is you have to go to the application. Here you can write Autopsy. So here you will get Autopsy and you can run it. You need to enter the root privileges, enter the root password, and you will get started. And here is the link. So from here you can click it. So in the web browser it will open the Autopsy. So this is the initial interface. So this is the initial interface. So or you can, what you can do to open this is go to the forensic category here. In the forensic category, here is the fifth option. From here also you can start the Autopsy. Method B is the terminal method. I recommend for this course because it is clear, repeatable, and easy to show on YouTube. Open a terminal in the Kali Linux using Ctrl plus Alt plus T or click the terminal icon from the panel. Type the command sudo autopsy and press enter. Then provide your password when prompted. Do not close this terminal window after the command start. Carefully read the output autopsy prints because it gives you local URL for the forensic browser. A common example looks like http localhost colon 1999 slash autopsy, but the port number can differ on your machine. Always copy and use the exact URL shown in your terminal. When you open the terminal here, either using the terminal icon here or using Ctrl plus Alt plus T, a window will come like this. So here if you write autopsy, it might give error, or you write sudo autopsy, then also it might give error. So it's giving a command not found. But actually we have seen that autopsy is pre-installed in Kali Linux, and we have seen in the application menu. So we need to find its path. So there is a command. So look at this command, and this command you have to execute to know the exact path of the Autopsy installed on your machine. So you will find the Autopsy is installed on your machine in this path. Just copy this path and paste it and run it. So you will find that Autopsy will start from the command prompt. So from here it's giving the URL. You can open this URL. So this is showing the screenshot of Autopsy, a web page screenshot of Autopsy. Once Autopsy print the URL, copy it carefully and open Firefox or any other browser inside Kali, paste the URL into the address bar and press enter. If everything is working, you should land on the Autopsy forensic browser homepage, just now we have seen, where you typically see the options such as create a new case, open an existing case. That welcome screen is your success signal. If page fails to open, first confirm that the sudo autopsy process is still running in the terminal. Never close that terminal while you are working. Then recheck the host and port from the print output, because a tiny typing mistake in the URL is very common beginner issue. This architecture diagram helps you understand what is happening behind the scene. Your physical computer is the host operating system. VirtualBox runs on that host as the hypervisor. Kali Linux runs as the guest virtual machine inside VirtualBox. Within the Kali, Autopsy start a local service essential, a small web server for the forensic interface. Firefox then connect to localhost, often on port 9999, and Autopsy store case-sensitive folder on disk inside the virtual machine. The key idea for the viewer is that Autopsy is not a public cloud website. It is serving pages from your own Kali environment. If you close the Autopsy terminal, that local service usually stops, and the browser can no longer reach your investigation workspace. Now we define the exact goal of experiment 1. So there is no confusion. The experiment title is create your first autopsy forensic case, and the tool the interface. In practical terms, you will create a new case with a clear education name, enter examiner or investigator details, note where autopsy store the case files, identify important regions of the user interface. Equally important is what we will not do yet. We will not perform full disk acquisition in this video. We will not jump into a deep malware analysis or deleted file recovery. Those topics come later. Experiment 1 is about building the correct starting habit before deeper investigation begins. Here is the detailed procedure you should follow on screen. On the Autopsy homepage, choose Create a new case. For the case name, use something clear and professional. For example, lab01 underscore first case. For the base directory, you can keep the default path or choose a dedicated folder such as root cases or home Cali forensic cases. Next, enter the investigator name for training. Your own name or a classroom alias is fine. Optionally, add a short description like YouTube Part 1 Education Practice Case. Submit the form to create the case, and when it is open, do not rush. Spend 2 to 3 minutes calmly exploring the page. A useful naming tip for your own videos and notes is searchable style such as YYYY, that is year, month, day underscore topic underscore lab01, because it stays organized as your lab series grows. This conceptual diagram explains what autopsy does when you create a case. First, you provide the inputs, case name, base directory, investigator details, and an optional description. Autopsy then process those inputs and create the case object. From that process, you get two important output. One is case metadata information about the who created the case and when it was created and when it is called. The other is a case directory structure on disk, which is where Autopsy keep related files for later reopening. After that, the case become ready for experiment 2, where we will add a disk image as evidence. So experiment 1 is successful when you understand both the metadata side and the folder side of case creation. You can see I have opened the autopsy and I'm going to click new case. So it's asking about the details. What details is asking in the create a new case is case name, description, and investigator names. I will enter these details and come back. So you can see I have entered the details. The case name as lab01 underscore first case, and then description is YouTube part 1 Azure practice case, and investigator name is others. So I'll click on the new case. So case has been created. Case directory is mentioned and configuration file for this is also mentioned. So you must now create a host for this case. Now click over add host. So it's asking for the host name, descriptions, time zone, time skew adjustment, path of alert hash database, path of ignore database. I will enter these details and come back. So you can see I have entered the details. The host name I enter is lab01 underscore host. The description I entered is education practice host. Time zone is an optional. Time skew adjustment is also optional. Likewise, path of alert hash database is path of ignored hash database is also optional. So we can add these details, right? So we will do the experimentation of time zone, time skew adjustment, path of alert hash databases, path of ignore hash databases in our future experimentation. Presently, I'm just adding a simple host. The host has been added. Right? It's giving the host directory information, it's giving the configuration file information. So the host directory and the configuration file locations are important to learn here. So you can add the image as well. So I'm not adding image in our first experiment. Adding the host and more details about the host, adding images will do in our future experimentation. Now, what to observe? We have to observe and confirm that the case name appear consistently in the autopsy interface. Second, note that the base directory path so the viewer understand where the file live on Kali. Third, note the case configuration or information page that appear after creation. Fourth, highlight the next option that usually appear, often related to adding a host or disk image. Fifth, note the terminal visible so people can see autopsy is still running. 6. Note that the browser address still point to localhost, proving this is local forensic work and not an internet website. Finally, save a short observation log containing the date and time, Kali version, autopsy URL port, case path, and screenshot file names. This log become excellent practice for report writing later if asked in the class. Now, many beginners ask why we need spend a whole experiment just creating a case. The answer is that this step build professional habits. Chain of custody start with a name case and an identified examiner, not with randomly opening files. Reproducibility matters because you, your classmate, or your future self should be able to reopen and the same case folder and continue work. Isolation matters because VirtualBox plus Kali project your host operating system during practice. The correct tool model matters because Autopsy is a local forensic workspace, not hacking online. And foundation matters because every later skill timelines, deleted files, artifacts of views, and reports hangs under this case object. A common beginner mistake is jumping straight into the evidence without proper case naming and pass. That creates messy notes and does not match how real forensic practice is organized. Let us confirm what successful completion look like. By the end of experiment 1, Kali should be running inside VirtualBox. The autopsy service should still be active in a terminal window. Autopsy should be open in your browser through a local URL. You should have created one new case, for example, Lab 01 first case, and you should have written short notes that include the case path, examiner name, and screenshot name. If all five of these results are present, congratulations. You have completed the foundation lab and are ready for the next part of the series. Troubleshooting is a normal part of learning, so you do not feel discouraged if something fails. If the terminal says command not found for autopsy, update your package with sudo apt update and then install autopsy. A browser cannot connect, keep the autopsy terminal open and carefully recopy the printed URL. If you get an permission denied message, launch autopsy with sudo. If the virtual machine feels too slow or freeze, increase virtual RAM and CPU setting and close heavy application on your host computer. If the wrong tool opened, double check that you launch Autopsy and not another forensic utility with similar name. Use this slide only when Autopsy is not already installed on your Kali machine system. Usually it comes with the Kali machine, but there might be some version which is not having the Autopsy. Might be some older version. First run sudo apt update to refresh package list. Then install the sudo apt installer autopsy salute -y and finally launch using sudo autopsy. After installation succeed, repeat experiment 1 from open autopsy step. Always verify package availability with apt search autopsy because some Kali version may not include the classical package in apt. Let us close part 1 with a clear takeaway. Autopsy is a digital forensic case workspace built on the Salute kit. On Kali Linux, the practical starting method is sudo autopsy, followed by opening the printer localhost URL in your browser. Experiment 1 is intentionally focused. Launch the tool, create a properly namespace, and observe both the interface and storage path. If you understand those three things, you already have the right foundation for every later autopsy experiment. Before you watch part 2, please complete this short practice assignment so that learning sticks. First, create a VirtualBox snapshot named before autopsy lab so you can store a clean state anytime. Second, create the case Lab 01 first case yourself. Third, write a 5-line lab note that includes the autopsy URL, case path, examiner name, date, and one screenshot file name. 4. Answer this reflection question in your notebook. Why must Autopsy keep running in the terminal while you use the browser? The answer is that Autopsy serves the interface from that local host process, and closing it usually stops the local service. Thank you for watching part 1, and I will see you in part 2 where we add practice evidence to the case.